Alright, so I'm gonna kind of show how I go through the process of, I guess, designing, but building an SV for design, and I'm gonna blueprint so that I don't have to continuously build the same, actually physically build the same thing over and over again in the game. So H brings up your creative, because I'm in creative mode, and in this specifically it's a Reforged Eden creative mode. So this lets you get all the various building materials you need. Since I'm building an SV, well, I need a starter block. I'll need that, and then I filter for just the SV. And you see, I've already got a lot of the blocks and such. I'm also going to do something where I grab another core, and I'll show you why. So I normally prefer to build in space, because that way, it just sits there. You don't have to worry about gravity, and you can maneuver around it, no problem. The problem is in space, there's not nearly as much light, so it'll be harder to see. So, obviously in creative mode, you got this god thing going on. So when your jump jet, or whatever they're called, the thrusters, your jetpack, basically, if it's on, you can sit there and hover. So that's cool. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to drone mode just because it's a lot easier to move around with that. So I'm going to go and place the SV starter. Boom. Bam. Okay. Now, the next thing I do is I use my multi-tool to remove the extra blocks. And what I'm going to do now, so when you hit your N key, you bring up this little menu here, the building and the debug. In this case, I'm using the building. Select the symmetry plane, and I do YZ, not XY. And what it does is it brings up that plane. It's the forward, back, up, down. Now, if I place that, it doesn't do anything. But when I do this, you see it places a mirror, basically repeats that process on the other side of that plane. So what I'm doing here is I'm basically building a frame. It's kind of going to be a kind of a work stand, I guess, is the best way I can think of explain it. And what it does is, now once I remove that, I then place, see, in order to place anything, it had, well, basically I put the core back up there. And I don't think I really need it, but I'll put it in here just for good measure. Come on, get in there. Get in there. There we go. Ah, you stinker. Alright, so what this now means is this is basically kind of where my floor, if you will, is going to be for my SV. And this way, if I want to put stuff on the bottom, which I am going to eventually want to put stuff on the bottom, it will make that just a lot easier. Now I've got both steel blocks and carbon composite blocks. Since I want this to be a relatively low level unlock, I don't want the cost in terms of materials to be all that great. So, and I don't intend to take this into combat. So the fragile nature of the carbon blocks is not going to be as big of a deal. So in case you weren't paying attention, what I'm doing is, if you left click and drag, you can draw or place multiple blocks at a time. Let's see. So, and I definitely tend to do function over form, although I don't want my thing looking completely ugly. Alright. Trying to think how I want to do this. So these are all various components that will eventually go into building this thing. And in this case, I'm intending to build an SV that can be used to carry multiple players. That way it's a lot easier to travel together, and not everybody's having to necessarily build their own ship. Okay. So I'm not going to do an enclosed cockpit. I'm going to do, let's see, that's 133, 123. Okay, that's a little, not quite as high vertically. So that's going to be the place for one player to control the ship. Pardon me. And if I wanted to be really fancy, so there's a texture and color tools you see in the bottom right. Right click, and I can change the color of this, of something. So why not? We'll make that yellow. That's a little bit too yellow. I think that's a little bit better. All right. So, gotta start thinking about where we're gonna put some components and how they're gonna fit in. So this, there we go. That's one of the passenger chairs. Now, they can do this with it facing forward, which might not be a bad idea. And you see how well you can see that green line that goes up to it. That's a rotational axis. So when I do that, see it allows to rotate on that axis. You can hit certain keys to change the axis of rotation. But in this case, we're going to stick with that. Kind of like, I think, oops, not that way. I think I like that way. Boom. Okay. Sorry, I have kind of a general idea as to how I want to build this, but I'm still trying to suss out where I want to place certain things. So, oxygen station, oxygen tank, fuel tanks. So, fuel tanks. So, mouse over, you see it says airtight is false. Now, if you're on a planet with a breathable atmosphere, that's not a problem. But, if you're out in space or on a planet that doesn't have a breathable atmosphere, and you use those as part of your exterior, you're going to have problems. So, or more specifically, you're just going to have to rely on your suit's oxygen, which can be not as convenient. So in this case, when you right-click on it, you can then change the shape of your block you're going to place. And some people go to some really incredible lengths for what they do. Like I said, I prefer function over form, but I do try and make it look somewhat pretty. or at least not just a flying block, which there are no aerodynamics in this game, so it's not like, except for whether or not you're in atmosphere, and therefore you have drag. Alright, so you see how it put those blocks all on the edge like that. Now that's the default skin, I guess, if you will, for the steel blocks. So you notice, or texture, that's what I'm looking for. So you note that this is a texture and color. Well, so down here we're going to tell it to do the whole, apply to basically all 6 surfaces of the block. And white. And we're going to, I'll just give you somewhat of an idea, we'll go with that. So you see it gives it a bit more of a rough hewn look. And you'll also note that it is also still duplicating it on the other side. But let me try that. Yeah, some of those don't work as well, especially on these angled blocks. Yeah. Okay, let me try that. Yeah, I like that. That's alright. And before you, and though you, oh, okay. I didn't realize you could change carbon. That's interesting. But that's good to know. So I think I'm gonna go with darker gray. Let's see if I can actually. Well, you can change the color of the core, but you can't change the texture. Let's see if I can actually. Nope. I'm trying to get the blocks that they're sitting on. There we go. I mean, I could have removed them, which, you know, would definitely give me access to it, but I didn't have to. I didn't want to. You'll see I got the cockpit back, because in this case I am going to need to go underneath, and going to do that. So again, it is going to put on the bottom. Yeah, I'll go with that. Okay. The cockpit again. So you see how the size, the second from bottom says 133. That means it's 1 wide, 3 high, 3 long. And you see the little blue framework there, that how many blocks or spaces that occupies. Which I guess since those seats are also 3, it's not as big of a deal. But I kind of like that. So you see that actually occupies 2 high, and that also comes into play when you basically, since this technically occupies the 1 by 2 by 3, even though there's empty space here, you can't place another block there. It just won't work. Yeah, let's go with red for the pilot. There we go. Okay. So, getting a little bit of the beginnings of the interior. So, like I said, there is so there's generator. No, it's fuel tanks. Sorry. Fuel tanks need to be they are very low radiation, so you don't want to have people sitting by them. Our O2 tanks. Tight. It is airtight. Okay. Sorry, don't mind me. I'm just muttering to myself. So this is a generator. That needs to be also away from people. So what we'll do... Actually, is it airtight? It is, okay. So we change axis rotation to that, which is good. Nope. Because I didn't rotate it before, because I'm a dummy. Got too much of a rush. So we'll try this again. There we go. Let's see. We'll make this red. Oh, yes. Actually, that's not too bad. You know what? Disregard. I am going to change the placement on that, because I forgot I was doing side access was the plan for the passengers and everyone. So I can actually do this. So you see these doors. Yep. So again, you can see that it's a 3x3x1. Those two are airtight. These two are not. So this is a 2x3x1, which I think would be better. So you notice, maybe you'll notice, that there is a specific side or edge that the door sits on, even though it still occupies all 6 of those cubes. Now, the really odd thing is, no matter which side this is on, so I'll have to, it still counts as occupying, like I said, so which means all 6 of those squares are airtight. So again, it placed the doors on either side. What are we going for doors? So that's interesting. That I know what. So because this does not exist here, it did not mirror the color. That's a little fun thing. I'm gonna stop. Oops. You know what? Nah, I don't like blue. Well, at least not that blue. No. Yeah, that'll be alright. Okay. So I've got my doors in there. Let's see, I still have them. So that's an RCS, wireless. So the RCS basically helps with your maneuverability. It gives you, essentially, it's your reaction control system, I think. Doesn't really matter. It basically helps, like I said, with your maneuverability, your pitch, roll, and yaw. Since your fuel, that oxygen, you get green because I'm weird like that. Okay. I'm trying to get the internals established and set up before I start adding the exterior, because it's just a lot easier to build it that way. So, ventilator is important. I mean, for this size, you're only going to need one. Is this airtight? It is. Okay, good. Are they all? And unlike other games where maybe you have to actually connect it to its source, in this case you don't. So we'll put the ventilator there. Let's see. So I don't need that at that point. Okay, why are you not showing up yet? There you are. That was really weird. Okay. So what the wireless does is it lets you connect to any container in the structure, in this case the vessel, and up to a certain distance away, you can basically put stuff into or take stuff out of that container. So 100 meters in this case, so it's not super duper far, but it works. And wireless will go purple, because why not? So I just need to put some more. Actually, nope, not trying to do that. What I need to do, there's a few things I need to do still. Got thrusters. So, as you might imagine, any vessel needs propulsion. And since this is a completely 3D game, you can move in all 3 dimensions. So, that means you need thrust in 6 directions. Basically, 2 directions on each axis. Now for the thrusters, I have a few different models available, and there we go. I'm going to change the rotational axis. And yes, so, let's see. Actually, I'm going to do, oh, you stinker, why you disappear like that? There we go. Good. Alright, so, most of your thrust, you kind of want to the back, because that's going to be your propulsion. Alright, that'll do. But you also want some to the front, so you can basically slow down. So, yeah, we'll go with that. So that's forward and back. We will also need up and down, left and right. So that's forward, back, left, right. And then Last but certainly not least, up, down. Now you might think, well, up I understand, but why down? Well, because when you're trying to change your pitch downward, you need thrusters that point up, especially when you're in space. And I just noticed that it puts the pattern and color on top of the tool. That's pretty cool. That's neat. I don't know when that was implemented, but that's a nice touch. Now, generally speaking, you don't need as much thrust up in the up direction as you do in the down direction. So, let's see how I want to do this. Nope. There we go. And I managed to put those in backwards. Dagnabbit. I'll have to fix that here in a moment. Okay. So... that's kind of ruined the aesthetic, hasn't it? Yes, it has. Okay, well, we'll have to fix that. So while it doesn't completely, there we go. Oh, it doesn't work at all for it, does it? Well enough. I have no idea why I keep getting positive faction things every so often with those two NPC factions, but whatever. Alright, so that's 5 of the 6 axes covered. Okay, yeah, that's starting to get a little bit overbearing, I think, on the pattern. That. So you see, those actually are slightly illuminated when power is on. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Because aesthetics, man. Yeah, that's gonna be the color. So, again, it probably doesn't look like much now. So now for some of the other stuff. So we talked about containers. So I don't remember what version they were added, but they added this modular container system. So here is what they call a container controller. It's kind of like the boss how do we call it? The boss module, I guess. And what color do we want for those? Yeah, we'll figure that later. Oh, that's nice. I forgot about that. So you can actually do more custom colors. Anyway, then you have these container controllers that go with. So basically, they are extensions of the container controller they're attached or they connect to. Now you see, I can't put it there because that would basically be confusing because these are two separate containers at this point. Oops. All right. Now, you'll see I get slightly different, or I get a few other options for textures when it's over the, over that. And I'm actually going to turn off the symmetry plane for a moment because I actually want to have these two be different colors. We're going to have that be purple. Let me try it. No. No. Yeah, I like that. Okay. That's really purple, though. You know what? Let's do. And when I eventually get to sorting it all out, you'll see why I made them two different colors. It's basically to help differentiate them when you're in the, so devices. Currently, these are all unorganized, unsorted. You can manually group them, and sometimes there's a reason to do that. But most of the time, auto grouping is quite fine. So now, when I'm hit the P key over that, you see all they are is container controller. I don't know which is which. Alright, that's annoying. Okay, let me try it this way. There we go. Okay, now you see how this one is highlighted. So what I can do now is I can go in there and change it to yellow. And now, see, that one's highlighted. We'll change this to brown. So what that does now is when someone goes into the menu, oh, okay, I want to make sure I put this in the, if I'm looking, I'm going to put this in the yellow one, or, it's just a little bit easier to differentiate between them. So next we have O2 stations, which, come on, why are you being difficult? There we go. Okay. Oh, and actually, let me go ahead and put the Symmetry plane back on. Now, it may look like it's where it was originally, but there's this weird thing where if you don't click, it'll actually be off. So, we're gonna put that there. And then we have armor locker. What color for the armor locker do you think? Yeah. And oxygen, of course. Green. Obviously put those right by the doors because that's where, you know, they're probably going to do the most good. Now, in addition, let's see. So if we ever put guns on this, we're going to have a container for ammo. All right, so actually, speaking of weapons, we have lots of options, but we're gonna go with minigun turrets, and because this is supposed to be a beginning, you know, beginning vessel, so nothing too high up there, and nothing too costly on this in terms of cost, materials. That's too costly in terms of cost. I can English. Are they airtight? I'm looking for it. I'm not seeing anything about airtight. Guess I'll find out. Bird. And those will go, the turrets will go on later. And black. Don't like that texture for them. Let's see what we got over here. Yeah. So again, illuminated type. Too lost in the weeds here, or down in the weeds, however that goes. I like that. There we go. We'll go with that. So sure, I'll do landing gear. This is part of the reason, another reason why it's good to have it elevated is it's a lot easier to put the gear on the ground. Why are you being difficult? So you have a few different types available, obviously. be high enough. It's probably not going to be slow enough. No, definitely will not. So actually, in this case, I'm really not sure why it's... Oh, that's really... So that's 1, 2, 3. That's 1, 2. Okay, I like that one better. So here's where we now are going to do a little bit of reversey, I guess. Now, the thing to remember or to know about this symmetry thing is it does not work when you're removing blocks. Which I think those are airtight. They are good. Okay. Okay, so that's done. Yes. So we now have a detector, or we're going to install one. That's basically useful for finding stuff as you're flying around. You can ping it. It'll identify things. Yeah, basically nothing too complicated about it. And we have ramps. So that's obviously a small ramp. We need something that's... Okay, I'm not sure what that means, but we need something that's at least 2 wide. Which that looks to be... Nope, it is not. It's 2 blocks long is what that is. That's 3 wide. Nope. Nope. Okay, do we really not have something that's 2 wide? Huh. Oh, there we go. Nope. So, nope, I needed 3 long. Okay. I think. Wait, where is that one? Where is the one that's full to side? Oh, there it is. Huh. Got to remove that one. Okay. Nope. way to... Now let me try this. Definitely plenty of thrust at this point. Unfortunately, I need to remove this at this point. Okay, so with the gear down, I need something longer on those. But that's actually, I like it. Maybe. Oh, I see. Okay, so... So not done with those yet. Oh. You know what? Yes. Then this means putting blocks back in. So this is the problem we have. Okay. It's still going to be the same effect, unfortunately. Okay, unsurprisingly, they're not airtight. But, you know what, we'll do this. So, I'm going to turn off... you know what? Yeah, that looks kind of boring, but so be it. It's more functional anyway. Sorry, I've not been talking much. Kind of starting to get into the groove here. I mean, again, even though not intending to take this into combat, I don't want to have the core exposed if I don't have to. So, yeah. So, what I'm going to do now, and in this case, I'm going to turn off apply to the whole cube. Because this way I can then... Nope, not what I was wanting to do. I'll have to fix that. Or, you know. So what that does is that changes that on the bottom. Not that you can really see at this point anyway, but it doesn't change underneath there. Yeah, kind of like that, maybe. Nope. 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 Why are you doing this to me? There we go. So now it's gray and that. You son of a bitch. Ugh. Why do you do this? I have no idea what I'm even changing the color on. Okay. So that's, let's see, is that all the interior for the most part? As far as any major stuff, I think so. Don't need the components from the other core. Some color for the ramp. I really wish you could do that, but you can't. So how about... Yeah. Oh, there we go. Down, boop, we land. Okay. So, and you can see how the, shouldn't think about color ramps because they don't go up. So I'm probably going to need a 1x4x1, I'm guessing. 4 by 2. Oh, yes. So it's 2 height. So that's actually very much what I want. So you see now with those deployed, you now just walk up the door. Whee. All right. Okay. So where did I? There they are. Okay. So while we have those extended like modular containers. Ooh, can you really not walk through there? Okay. Since you have the modular containers for main, big stuff, I do also want some smaller containers for, like individual items of carry. Like if you're gonna put weapons or ammo or something in there. Oops. Is this airtight? It is not. Okay, well, oops. Well, it's not going to be outer wall anyway, so... Oops. So... Actually, I need to turn off the symmetry plane again. So I'll make this one orange. We'll make this one green. Okay, why is that? I wouldn't have thought that was going to be a problem getting between those. Okay, so that's gonna change some things here. So I'm going to place these there. And the O2 tanks. Well, heck. Might as well put it there. Okay. So, I'll do a different video on doing the outside, just, to build it from there. So that way, this doesn't get overly long. So I'm going to end it for now here. Thanks for watching.